Welcome to Two Girls, One Ghost.
Two Girls, One Ghost.
But it's spooky, scary Halloween, so we have some ghost stories.
Oh my God, this comes out on Halloween. Happy Halloween.
This is Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. What's up?
What's up?
Scary movie. You seen it?
Me? No. Sabrina? Yes.
Welcome to the land of Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
And
Beetlejuice.
don't say it again.
Beetlejuice.
Now we need a third to just puff. A puff of smoke, and Sven is in costume.
Well, that should have been how we entered.
Damn it.
Oh, well. Hello.
Hey. Howdy. Welcome to Two Girls, One Ghost.
Two Girls, One Ghost. And we are your ghouls, your ghostesses today. We are Beetlejuice and Beetlejuice.
Yes.
Beetlejuice getting married and Beetlejuice that procreated with a Oompa Loompa from Willy Wonka.
And some discoloration in our balding areas. Don't mind us.
So, yes. We tried to get hair plugs and it changed the color of our scalps.
You know, things got a little boring before we were summoned again, but now we're here. We're back.
We're back. And
no
we
sandworms in sight.
Have ghost stories.
Just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
And we can make it every time.
We're getting romantic over here. You are in wedding mood.
You and I.
I was wondering if you were going to eat them.
There's a reason I put the shrimp cocktail sauce in my cup.
Yes.
Nothing what like 8 a.m. shrimp.
Should I try shrimp for the first time?
Have you never tried one?
No, shrimp is like disgusting to me.
This is not the one to try.
Yeah, no.
From the grocery store?
Yeah, no.
No.
This is an encounters episode. And I want to begin with not a ghost story per se, but my own encounter.
What?
With a creepy kid. Noemi.
A living? Oh, Noemi. I was like, living kid?
Noemi is the child of maybe the two least creepy people I know. But she has the creepy blood because this girl loves skeletons, loves pumpkins. She says the word skeleton.
Really?
Because so my mom.
That's wild. She's pretty young for saying skeleton.
And she doesn't enunciate fully, but she knows skeletons and she points to it. She gives skeletons kisses every morning. Because my mom decorated my sister's house with a bunch of skeletons.
So
and
cute.
She loves them. And then I'll play a video. I can't play it for you right now because our phones are being used. But we'll put a video into the YouTube video.
Is that a bunny? Want to give the bunny a kiss? Yeah.
So her and I were sitting on the couch using all the Snapchat filters. And I looked at the Halloween ones. And there is a terrifying one of a like demon bunny and it like grabs onto you and it has red glowing eyes and like really sharp nails.
Which should scare a child.
Noemi goes, "Ooh," and gave it a kiss.
Oh my God. I almost said, what is wrong with that child? But nothing is wrong. That child is perfect. She's perfect.
She's perfect. She's one of us.
A creepy kid.
Oh
my God. What did your sister think?
I sent the video because I was babysitting her. So I sent the video to my whole family group chat and everyone was like, that is terrifying. I was like, well, to Noemi, it's cute.
It is cute because everyone loves Halloween and it lives in your heart and you're born with it.
We're born this way.
Yes, we are.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Oh my God. Consumerism.
They've gotten us once again.
But it's spooky, scary Halloween. So we have some ghost stories.
Oh my God, this comes out on Halloween. Happy Halloween.
This is Halloween, Halloween, Halloween.
We have a pitch for you. Instead of playing spooky music on Halloween when you give out creepy kid candy, put on our podcast. Play it on a speaker for your entire neighborhood to hear.
Won't they just love it?
They'll love it.
There's some episodes that maybe shouldn't be.
Play the Incubus, Succubus, Sexy Valentine's Day episode.
Yeah, that can be played in the basement when you lure your crush inside.
Yes.
You're like, are you interested in this?
Do you want to play? Speaking of playing, let's play around with some ghost stories.
Okay. Ghost stories.
This is called A Joke That Became Too Real. From our listener, April, who found us through National Park After Dark.
Hey, what up, Danielle and Cassie?
What's up? April says, you are so very brave for staying the night at the Lizzie Borden house. I can't believe it. I would have peed my pants immediately.
I kind of forget that we even went there sometimes.
I know. Okay. As soon as I started listening to your Encounters episodes, I knew I needed to write in and share my story of a pretend seance gone wrong. The first thing you need to understand is that when we did this, my friend and I were young, dumb, and drunk. I added that because TikTok. I mean, Kesha.
What has happened to you?
Beetlejuice has taken over. We both grew up very religious, so we were a little naive, to say the least. I was about 12 years old, and I'm a little embarrassed to say, but I was still watching the Disney Channel at this age.
Wait,
not
what's
embarrassing.
Wrong with that?
I was literally playing with Barbies until I was 14.
I feel like I still watch Disney Channel in college.
I recently started watching That's So Raven again. So.
Yeah, it's quality top tier TV.
Yes. So I was watching The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and there was a Halloween episode on where they did a seance. So I was paying extra attention. I was a terrible older sister, and I was constantly trying to scare my younger sister, and we had a basement, which was rare growing up in the Southwest. So you can imagine what happened next. It was sleepover night, and I invited 2 friends, and my sister had a friend over as well. We told my sister and her friend that we knew spirits were lingering in the basement and that we needed to confront the spirits. It was an older house, but up to this point, neither I nor my friend had experienced anything. We were just trying to scare my sister and her friend. So we scoured my house for candles and somehow convinced each person to take a candle and walk down to the basement. We had a cheap air hockey table down there with a few chairs and buckets, so we used that as our table. We sat around it, placed our candles down, and held hands. My best friend was definitely labeled the wild one, and she thought this idea was fantastic. So she ran with it and became very theatrical. We were both acting very serious. My other friend was rolling her eyes, and the younger girls were legitimately scared. My friend quieted us all down and spoke into the pitch black basement. Hello, spirits. If you are there, make yourself known.
Why am I nervous that you said that out loud and we're in my home? We're reading an email.
Half of us were smirking and giggling during this moment. Then my friend spoke again. Spirits! Show us a sign that you are here. I feel like Moira for a reason.
Spirits!
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 At that moment, all of us were stunned into silence because as she said this, all of the candles flickered and went out, except for the ones in front of me and my friend.
How scary.
Our shocked faces were illuminated to the rest of the group, and the other girls collectively screamed and ran up the stairs. We, of course, followed suit. We laughed it off and had a fun night, but something changed over the course of the next couple of months, something neither one of us were prepared for. It started off with my sister and I being genuinely terrified of being near our basement, and I specifically avoided going in there at all costs. Our basement had a small window, and every time I would look at it, I felt like something could see me, and the hairs on my arms would stand on edge. Then it progressed to little things like the basement light being on it unexpectedly when no one was down there. Our TV room was above the basement, and before our infamous sleepover, my sister and I would watch movies in there at night, but after that, we tried, but there seemed to be a heaviness in the air, and it was just uncomfortable to even be in that room. Next, my dad was down in the basement, and he yelled for me and my sister to go down there. So we tentatively walked down there. My dad stood there with an angry expression on his face and asked us, "What have you girls been doing down here?"
Oh no.
My sister and I looked at each other with a confused and scared look on our face. And my sister said, "I haven't been down here in weeks." I also had been avoiding coming down for the last couple of weeks, My dad then pointed at an old laundry bin down there and said, "Did one of you start a fire in there?"
What?
We both looked into the laundry bin. There was a blackened char on the interior lining of the bin that wasn't there before. We both looked at each other, and I know my sister didn't do that by the confused look on her face, and I know I hadn't done it either. I told my dad we hadn't been down there recently, avoiding telling him why, but we said we didn't do that. He just shook his head like he was disappointed that we were lying and said, "Well then, how did this happen?" I sounded so small when I replied with, "I don't know." Then things started feeling more aggressive. I constantly felt like I was being watched, to the point where I didn't even like looking in mirrors because I was scared to see something behind me. One time when I was alone, I moved a large mirror on the door and I freaked out because when I looked, I could swear a large dark entity was staring at me. I had to close my eyes and take deep breaths before I could open my eyes again. I would also wake up in the middle of the night and feel like something was watching me in the corner of my room. I felt as though I could not move from the bed and like I was silently screaming in my head.
Oh my God. All this from
a joking seance.
One little seance with your friends.
And 2 comments.
Right.
Like they truly asked 2 things.
Right. It wasn't like this extended thing.
Which I now know is sleep paralysis, but at the time I had no idea what or why it was happening. What made things worse was that I was definitely a latchkey kid, as both my parents worked overtime and at night. So about once a week they would be gone and I would have to watch my sister. As my sister and I became progressively more terrified of the house, we would stay up late in our parents' room, sleeping in their bed together, watching stupid, funny movies. However, one of these nights, we heard things dropping in the kitchen below us. I walked into the kitchen and there was a bowl on the floor, but no one was there, except for that heaviness in the air. I ran back to the room and closed my parents' door. Things continued to drop in the kitchen, and all my sister and I could do was hold on to each other and pray that it would stop. Needless to say, we didn't get much sleep that night.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
My friend who had led the seance also experienced some things in our home. One time she was with my sister in our TV room, and as my sister turned away, my friend was looking at our shelf that was full of VHS tapes, and she witnessed a very purposeful dropping of one VHS tape after another, falling to the floor. The whole row had fallen to the ground in a pile until the row was empty. There was no reason for the tapes to fall like that.
I can't even imagine the fear of just being frozen in place, watching like one by one,
it's
all
like
of them. Boom, boom, boom.
A hand.
Boom, boom. Yeah.
Specifically pulling them off. Or pushing them from the other side. Which,
yes. Like Interstellar. Maybe it was a code. Maybe you were supposed to get the message.
Well, yeah, I don't think so.
No, probably not. Not if it was every single one.
Yes. So my friend also believed that we had done something wrong that night of the seance. After a few months, we still had a few sleepovers, although avoided the basement completely now. But we had a disposable camera that we loved to take selfies and group pictures with. We saved a few bucks to get the pictures printed. However, when we got home to look at the pictures, my friend had a very concerned look on her face. She laid out a couple of our group photos in a row, then a couple of just us, and then a couple of my sister's photos with her friends. She then pointed to the photos and said, "Why are there spots in every picture with us? But in the pictures without either of us, there are no spots."
Oh my God.
These photos were all taken at the same time with the same camera. Chills immediately ran through me as she said this because I knew the entity was following me and was also following her. There was another moment that finally led me to confess to my parents because I felt so helpless and I didn't know what to do. I was alone after coming home from school, and my sister was on a school trip for the day, and my parents were out shopping. I was doing homework on my parents' bed, which was now my safe space, and was looking up the hallway thinking about the answer to a question. And all I see is a swish, and I see my sister's door aggressively slam shut. I immediately sat up, not knowing what to do. And straight out of a scary movie, I slowly got up, walked to my sister's door, calling out her name, asking if she was home. No reply.
I'm gonna guess that she wasn't home.
I don't know what made me do it, but I attempted to open the door, and I shit you not, it was locked. I backed up and felt like I needed to leave, so I picked up my iPod and booked it to the door. I looked back to see if my sister's window was open, but everything was closed and all seemed in order from the outside. So I aimlessly walked around until my parents got home because I refused to be in my house alone. And when I got home, the door was unlocked and open. About a couple of days later, I talked my sister into telling our dad what we had done at that sleepover in the basement. The thing that scares me the most now was my dad was very calm and believed us, which at the time I was so relieved to be believed and also not be in trouble. But now it makes me think, why did he believe us so quickly?
That's exactly what I was going to say. My dad
Had
knows
he
something.
been experiencing something himself? He has since denied it, but like I said before, we grew up very religious. So my dad blessed our house, very similar to the Catholic way of blessing a home. We didn't experience any more activity, and I felt so much safer. However, I definitely learned a very important lesson then. Do not stir things up as a joke to scare your younger sister when you do not know what the hell you're doing. See you on the other side, April.
But isn't it so tempting? I understand why they did it.
And if Zack and Cody did it.
Right. It's Disney Channel's promoting this.
Yes.
On many different forums. Like, it's not just
No,
Zack
I mean,
and
Halloween
Cody.
Town.
Yeah.
That's a Raven had a Halloween episode. Boy Meets World had a Halloween episode.
I wouldn't put it past them to sell a Ouija board at Disney World during Halloween time.
A Disney-themed Ouija board.
Haunted Mansion, literally a ride. Trying to get you to ride
Ghosts.
with the ghosts.
Yeah. Disney Channel is satanic.
Yeah. That's the conclusion. It's not your fault. It's Disney Channel.
Sue Disney. Just kidding, don't.
Don't sue us, Disney.
They won't.
Beetlejuice isn't a Disney production, is it?
No, it's I think it's Warner Brothers.
Okay.
I think it's Warner Brothers.
They're coming for us. These are not Beetlejuice costumes. These are weird man who lives amongst sandworm costumes. That's what Amazon calls them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't sue us, Jeff Bezos. Oh my God.
We're just getting sued left and right.
Say Beetlejuice 3 times and we can disappear.
Well, April, I'm glad that you were able to get rid of all the whatever it was. I definitely, if I were a ghost or a demon and I saw some innocent little kiddos trying to scare people in the basement, I'd be like, hello.
Yeah, creep on in.
Yeah.
I am so curious. I think you need to ask your dad now that you're an adult. You need to follow up with your father and ask him more questions.
It does seem like April's asked recently, but ask again.
Pry harder. We need more information. There's no way that
Get him drunk.
Bring him to the basement.
Oh my God.
Wait till he passes out. Drag him into the basement.
Put him on the air hockey table. Light some candles.
On the air hockey table.
And perform another seance. Okay.
Daddy dearest. Also, when you were doing the Moira voice earlier, it reminded me Noah is pretty chatty now.
Aww.
And he sounds so much like Jennifer Coolidge. He goes, oh, all the time.
That's amazing.
I know. I'm like, hello?
I love it.
Jennifer?
That'd be a good Halloween costume.
I should dress him up. The gays, they're trying to kill me.
One of you should be a hot dog.
Oh my God. Brian literally has a golf outfit that is a hot dog. It has hot dogs all over. Dang it. We need a little Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah.
Okay.
What? Is that him?
Right.
Is he literally saying, ow?
Ow. You can hear upstairs. Ow. Ow.
Right on cue.
Right on cue. No, he's crying. This is called Night Terrors. It's long, but worth it. And this is from Bailey. Hey, y'all. This is long, but I've never shared it.
We love a virgin story.
I know. Virgins.
Beetlejuice would say something like that.
Yeah, he would.
Beetlejuice
in a
in
much
the
more
first
slimy way, though.
Yeah, Beetlejuice in the first movie is super inappropriate. Like, doesn't hold up. Not okay anymore.
Yeah.
But in the new movie, he's still slimy,
He's a little
but
more
in
2024.
a less Me Too way.
Hey, y'all. This is long, but I've never shared this. I grew up Southern Christian Baptist, and I pray after every episode that I listen to because I truly do love listening to y'all. I love the banter. It's so interesting because growing up like I did, these things were just never discussed. I mean, that's good. That's a form of protection.
Yes. Everyone should do some type of protection or prayer before and after listening to our podcast. Us included.
Good job. Yeah, we got to take a note from Bailey.
Yeah.
I live in Oklahoma, and I work in oil and gas, previously trauma medical device sales until March 2023. My husband works in oil and gas and can be gone for weeks and months at a time, and I now work with him. When this happened, I was still a medical device trauma rep. I saw everything from self-inflicted gunshot wounds to extreme trauma to the face, cancer covering the skulls, babies with abnormalities that had to be surgically reconstructed or they would die, lots and lots of suicide attempts, and lots of broken jaws and orbital trauma. Basically smashed and destroyed faces of any kind. And yeah, this did take a toll, but it was a job and I was good at it.
I mean, it's so interesting because you think like a medical sales rep isn't in the field seeing all of that, but
they have to be in the operating room to show you
how to
show
use
the doctors
it.
how to use the tools.
That's wild.
I know. You make a lot of money though.
Yeah.
If I didn't faint, maybe that'd be another career.
Yeah, you could never do that.
I can do anything I want
With your eyes closed.
with my eyes closed and
Without-
chaperone
and-
playing in my headphones and going nom, 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 the whole time.
So you'd be really good at it.
I'd probably still faint because I'd be in my mind
You'd
picturing
know.
what was happening.
Yeah.
Okay. I was home for about 3 weeks without my husband. We'd been married on October 7th, 2022, and now he was on a job. So I typically would have a glass or two of wine while I made dinner before bed. I'd also recently brought my childhood dog, Mr., a 12-year-old at the time. Oh, how do I say this? Lhasa Apso? Lhasaopso. That type of dog. I've never heard
I
that.
didn't even know that was a type of dog.
He was my dude through and through. When my husband was out of town, instead of putting him in his kennel, I would let him sleep with me like he used to for comfort.
I love it.
Then the night terrors started.
Oh no.
I thought it was a dream at first, but I can feel myself awake and unable to move, unable to sit up, talk, make any kind of noise. I could do nothing, but I can see our whole room. I can see my dog. I can see the lamp on the left, and I can see something dark, a figure that almost looked like a rectangle. But as it continued to happen night after night, I started to pay attention because of the terror and not being able to pull myself out and wake up. It was just so immense. I continue to have these dreams, these night terrors, and I saw the figure, now with long black hair, no face, just a dark blob at first. Then extremities began to appear when the night terrors progressed.
Extremities?
Yeah,
Multiple?
I guess so.
Many?
2 arms.
I'm picturing like
legs.
thousands of arms
Oh.
reaching through the walls or like the ceiling.
That's very creepy. And it would grab me and hold me down. All the while, I'm thinking that this is just a nightmare. But again, I can see the whole room. I can see it as it is. I'm awake. I can't move. I can't talk. I'm screaming. I'm trying to as loud as I possibly can, but nothing. It's the worst feeling, knowing you're awake, but also that you're helpless.
Ugh.
It seems unreal. So again, I believed nightmares. This happened a lot, and I would try not to sleep to avoid the paralyzing nightmares. I would sit up in bed, I would leave the lights on, but it still happened at least 4 to 5 hours out of every single night. I would fall asleep sitting up, reading my Bible, or I'd fall asleep in prayer, and it would still happen. Falling asleep, seeing the terror, maybe the dark shadow, and me trying to wake up over and over again. Eventually, my dog, my best friend, started to appear in the terrors, different than he did before. He would come in as this crazed dog, still looking exactly like him, but I could see him at the end of our bed, exactly as it was, and he was biting and ripping off my face, then my chest,
Oh,
my
no.
arms, continuing to rip off my face. I scream silently in terror, and when I can finally pull myself out, I look at Mr. He's a fat boy snoring at my feet. I wake him up just to check, and he comes and he lays on my chest,
Oh.
which is not like him. He likes to sleep at the feet. He's a protector. And this happened 5 times, and he is not a biter. So my husband, he comes back from work. I figured this would all stop now that he's here, but it certainly did not.
Oh no.
I would have night terrors of him talking in disgusting phrases, so crude, different languages. Then he would hold me down and he would, I think we can guess,
Yeah.
laughing all the while as I'm screaming on and on, but I still cannot move.
I hate how it's using
Everyone
the
around
people
her.
and the things that make her feel safe.
Yep. This happened for about 2 weeks, and he would do these horrific things, acting like another person. And sometimes I couldn't even see that it was him, but it would still have his voice. And sometimes it felt like there was someone behind him calling the shots.
Because there was.
Yeah. In my terror, I would yell and I would scream as loud as possible, but nothing. I could not leave these night terrors. I would wake up with my mouth open, dry like I'd been yelling, hoping that noise would come out, and it never was. Terrified, but hoping that I'd see my husband awake from my screams, but he was sound asleep every time. There is nothing that can stop these. I've tried antidepressants, sleeping medicine, etc. They were violent beyond belief until they were done. This went on for about a month and a half, and I haven't had one since.
What?
However, I now work with my husband. I don't spend nights alone anymore, but that doesn't explain why I still had them, even when he returned. It was the worst thing I've ever seen and felt, and I lost about 20 pounds during this because I was afraid to think about it. I was afraid to
Aw.
sleep. I had zero hope. I couldn't think about anything. As I would explain it to my Southern Baptist mom, it was, well, pray more and take some NyQuil.
Which I bet NyQuil makes it worse.
Probably. I mean, that already kind of makes you paralyzed.
Right, exactly.
The doctors had no answers. They prescribed me medicine that I was already on, no explanation until I found your podcast. And now I feel sane. Anywho, we're doing okay. We're in the same house that we've been in. And I think I had to come to this point to realize that they were real, but no one believed me. And I would just deal with it as it came. But as I mentioned earlier, I thought I was alone in this. And now I know different. Thank you for all your stories. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I don't necessarily think they're over for good. Also, while listening to your podcast and the story of Rick, my car filled with flies.
Stop.
My nips just got hard. I had full body chills. Even my toes.
Beetlejuice, you're dirty.
Oh my God. It just happens when a story gets me good, you know?
Gets you going.
My car filled with flies, no matter how many times I would swat them out with a hat, and I would think that they were gone. Driving down the highway, out of nowhere, one would pop up in my rearview mirror and then fly at my face. This happened 8 times. When my husband and I finally got home last night, I was cleaning out my car. I checked the center console for anything, and 2 flies flew out.
No.
I hadn't opened it in 3 days.
No.
I lit some incense. I sought some good vibes. So we'll see. Thank you too for all that you do. Love the spirit of you two. Makes me feel like I'm in good company. From Bailey.
Bailey, I'm so sorry. This is horrible. Also, did you continue listening to Rick after the flies? Because maybe that was a sign to stop listening.
That probably was a sign, but it doesn't feel like it is. Or, I mean, it feels demonic. There's something already around Bailey before we came in, right?
Yes. Oh, totally.
It's not our fault.
Well, we didn't help.
No, we
did help because we made Bailey feel less alone.
We do a little bit of both.
Yeah, we help and we don't help. We help and make things work. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very sorry.
I know.
It is also so strange how it started out of nowhere and stopped out of nowhere. Like there's no rhyme or reason and no way to understand why it happened. Well,
because it's like if Bailey's working night shifts with her husband, she's still sleeping. It's just during the day. So what's the difference between day and night when it comes to the night terrors?
Daylight come and I want to go home.
That is the reason. The daylight comes and the demons want to go home. They gotta sleep.
Beetlejuice has all the answers.
Oh my God.
I keep looking at the screen and seeing both of us, and it's very confusing because I don't know which one's which, like who's who. Even though I know,
very scary because your cap kind of does look white. So I feel like
does it?
Yeah, you're more extended. Spooky,
spooky, scary.
Bailey, I am very glad. I think there's a lot of people like you that listen to our podcast or other podcasts where you feel so alone because you've never experienced anything like this before. You've never heard anyone experience something like this before. But what we've learned with our podcast and with doing campfire stories every Tuesday is anything you've experienced, there is someone out there.
There is.
That has also encountered the same thing.
Why don't we all collectively right now, not saying that this will definitely work, Bailey, but why don't we all, whoever's listening, and you and I, Beetlejuice, let us send good intentions to Bailey, protective energy of love and light and positivity, and let the spiritual realm know not to fuck with Bailey, because if you fuck with Bailey, you fuck with us.
Yeah.
And you don't want to fuck with us.
No, you don't.
Look at us. Do you want to fuck with us?
We're super intimidating.
We're terrifying because you never know what to expect.
Do you want this to be your sleep paralysis demon?
Demons, do you want sleep paralysis from us? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm threatening the ghosts, the demons.
So we're going to give them sleep paralysis?
I'm going to sleep paralysis the demon.
Turn the tables.
Yes.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Clever.
Yeah. Okay, let's close our eyes and do good vibes. Okay. Let's actually feel it and project it. You know what's weird? And I know it's probably just because we have lights on us. When I close my eyes, it's still happening. There's like 2 eyes looking back, but they have like it almost looks like there's like slits over them.
That seems scary. Or maybe that's your guardian.
I'm gonna. They're like, shut your eyes. Don't think about this. Close. Stop talking.
Okay. Man. Hopefully Bailey never experiences anything like that again.
I know.
This is from our listener Emma, and it's called "The House That Blew Up."
Oh God.
Hello. My name is Emma, and I found out about your podcast this week and have been binging it while working. I have always thought I was weird because of the ghost experiences that I have had throughout my life. And I have been told that what I experience is not possible or is not real. To get right into it, right before I was born, my parents moved into an old dentist office, which they then transferred into a home, which was on a property where a house literally blew up. I mean, it blew up. People across the city have told me they remember when it happened, and they remember hearing about it and feeling houses shake from 5 miles away. So this land was originally home to a house where 2 people lived. They were 2 older people, a man and his wife. The older man apparently left his gas stove on accidentally while they were sleeping. That next morning, while the older woman was sleeping, the man decided to make breakfast. He started the stove, and immediately the house exploded in milliseconds.
Oh my God. That's a horrible. That's why I got an electric oven, because I do fear the gas stuff a lot.
Yes. They both passed away. When I was little, I had no clue about this. And I remember having terrifying nightmares all the time. I'd wake up screaming, and it was like the dreams were still happening while I was awake. I also remember I never felt alone, and I always felt like I was being watched. I experienced some of the most insane things in this house. One of the most terrifying things I remember experiencing was right before I went to bed. I picked up all of my toys in my room and put them into my toy box and shut it before going to sleep. My room was spotless, but I remember waking up in the middle of the night. My room was silent, and it felt like I was the only person in the house. I woke up and saw my Cat in the Hat stuffed animal doll walk around my bed.
No, that's probably the creepiest doll you could have too.
Staring at me the entire time.
Cat in the Hat is already kind of scary.
Yes. I was paralyzed. I looked over to my toy box, which was now open with the toys spilling out. It's very Toy Story, but like demonic Toy Story. I know this may sound crazy, but I found out that the woman who lived in that house had an obsession with dolls. I recently told my sister about this experience, and she looked at me dead in the eyes and said the exact same thing happened to her. One of her dolls walked around her bed in the middle of the night, and she woke up to it. I have no clue if the older lady was trying to play with us or scare us.
Jesus.
But it scared us.
Yeah. I used to have nightmares when I was little that my American Girl dolls would come alive. Like, toys are fun until they're not.
If any doll were to come to life, I think American Girl dolls are up there.
100%. And very creepy. But oh my God. I can't believe her sister never said anything.
Well, it sounds like neither of them did. So also random toys would go off all the time when they were turned off. I always felt like that house was haunted before I even knew what haunted was. I am convinced I'm some sort of medium because every single house that I go into feels haunted to me. I end up finding out that people in the house experience extreme paranormal events. My aunt's house especially was one of the most evil feelings I'd ever had when I was in that house. She told me so many unbelievable stories about what she and anyone who sleeps in that house has experienced. Anyway, I told my dad about the experience with the Cat in the Hat doll around 3 years ago. And he told me that he remembered when they put the house on that property, he and my uncle were standing on the porch when all of a sudden, a baby doll flew over the entire house.
What the fuck?
There were no debris left from the old house, so my dad has absolutely no clue where it came from.
This is so weird. It's like a vortex of living dolls.
Yeah. My dad also told me he was taking a nap on the couch one day when he woke up from his nap and there was an old man in blue jean overalls standing beside him, staring at him. So many of my family members have experienced paranormal encounters in that house, and I have experienced even more than that. I hope you read my email, and I just want you to know I really enjoy your podcast. From Emma.
Some people actively go to the island of dolls to try to be scared, but Emma's just living it.
Just go to Emma's old house.
Go to Emma's house. What a weird move if it is the woman. It's like she's possessing the dolls. She's not just playing with them. Like she's walking, she's flying.
Right. Well, I mean, that's pretty sick. If you're a ghost and you can take over a doll and fly.
Like I said, yeah, we've never heard of that.
That's awesome.
That's a new consideration. It's also scary to think that a possessed doll will just be like, they don't have to just rely on their 2 little doll legs.
Right. I will say I think possessed has a negative connotation. I mean, this experience is definitely creepy. And Emma even said, I don't know if she was trying to scare us or play with us, but it scared her, which I always say, trust your gut. But possess, maybe it's just inhabiting.
Okay. Take it for a spin. Just a light vessel.
Just a popping in.
A dip in the hot tub.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. A dip in the hot tub of a doll's body.
Yeah.
It does feel like it's related, especially because her dad did see the man in blue overalls watching him. It does feel like it's related to the previous owners.
Yeah, I guess
They just chose a creepy way to show up.
They 100% did.
Yeah.
Which maybe it's so like they're not even considering people living in the house. Like it's just like, this is what I like. This is what I do.
Right. Also, that death is like so sudden and scary that I wonder if there's some confusion. I don't know.
Which, remember that ghost photo that my friend Brianna's friend had?
Oh, the man by
the man is like walking
with the briefcase
and the woman's in sweats at the stove. And we were theorizing that like maybe that's what happened because it was like he was on the way out and she was cooking and it's the two of them just like showing up in the photo. Or they're just going about their daily routine. But that is very creepy. Know. If your family still lives there, set up cameras.
Invite us.
Oh, two different things.
Call Beetlejuice 3 times and we'll show up.
Oh.
That would be terrifying.
Like this in this form?
What?
Just sweaty with horribly streaked makeup. I don't know if you remember this or if this was discussed on Campfire Stories because I have zero recollection of it. But Litha sent us an email a year ago and I finally just read it last night and I was like shitting myself over it.
What is it?
I think it's basically when Litha cracked her like psychic abilities. And it has to do with the Two Girls One Ghost community. It's so wild.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
That was such a Beetlejuice sound.
Oh. Hi, ghostesses and Eric. And she CC'd Eric.
That's amazing.
Email. It's Litha. I'm emailing you from a different email address because these screen caps were not on my phone. So imagine this. It's the morning of Halloween. You're cleaning out your living room after your 2 dogs found their way into the stash of firewood and had a party.
If anyone is doing that right now, maybe stop.
Or don't, because this is cool.
Or continue.
When you keep getting signals, that's the best way I can describe it. A knowing. Fuzzy, but something was coming together in my brain. Later that day, before family came over for our annual Samhain tarot session to speak to our ancestors, I was on the computer mapping out a trip that I would be taking that weekend to a piercing studio a ways from my house. On the map, my eyes darted to a street name, Beulah Road.
Which is so specific.
A little bell went off in my head. Beulah. Where had I seen that name before? On the side of a van? Mount Beulah something? Wait, Beulah Baptist Church. That was it. It was on a Netflix series, Swap Shop, that I'd been watching the week before. An antique store owner had this old van that she used when she went picking, and it said Beulah Baptist Church on the side of it. I heard the bell go off when I watched the show a few days prior, but I thought nothing of it. Near Beulah Road on the map was something else my eyes were drawn to. For what reason, I do not know. A botanical garden. And I don't know what happened next, except that I was typing out a message on the Two Girls One Ghost Discord, not realizing something would actually come of it. And these screen caps aren't all of it, but most of what transpired. So I'm going to read all the screen caps. Litha says, this is going to sound wild, so I'm just going to take a swing. Who knows someone named Beulah? I've been seeing this name everywhere, on TV, on the side of a van, now street names. Does anyone have an ancestor or someone named Beulah? Because I don't. Eric, who's also very active in our Two Girls One Ghost community, says, I had an aunt named Beulah.
Stop.
Litha said, some of these might not be true, but do any of these words have any connection with her? Virginia, Baptist Church, Botanical Garden, Pond Flowers, Lilies, Antique Stores, or Vienna? Eric says, yes.
What?
Litha said, did she hate mess and clutter? Or maybe she was the opposite? No offense to Beulah, but maybe she was a collector? Or does she despise even a speck of dust? Eric said she had an antique store at a flea market with her husband, my grandmother's brother, and she ran a botanical greenhouse and is buried at the Baptist Church.
Shut up. What?
Nicole goes, this is insane, Litha. And then we got some other people chiming in. Litha goes, I've never done anything like this before. You're joking. Eric, come get your aunt. She's telling me my house is messy. I'm like, yeah, Beulah, my house is messy, but girl, we hardly know each other. Oh my God, I've never actually connected with this spirit like this before. Eric goes, this is hilarious. See what she says about my uncle. Litha then tags in Jason Allen, who is also psychic medium, hanging out in the Two Girls One Ghost Discord, and is like, hey, any idea why Beulah's visiting me and not just Eric directly? Because Eric talks to the dead all the time.
All the time. Big dead talker.
Big dead talker. Litha also then says, why is she just like, when I mention husband? Like, leave me alone. I'm having fun. I'm independent, even though I've got a husband. Is that her coming through or is that me? Whoever is coming through feels immense love, even though they don't take certain things too seriously. And I don't know if that's Beulah or someone else, but whoever this is, there's so much laughter and a lot of playful jabs at the ones that they love most.
That's so funny.
And then slippers and floral moo-moos and a loose perm. But that could be my imagination filling in the gaps of the story. And Jason is like, yes, it usually does happen when there's a very important message for that person. And sometimes they've been unable to make contact with the person that their message is intended for. So they feel that person is ignoring them and they must go find someone else to help get the message to that person.
Stop ignoring Aunt Beulah.
That's how she knew to come to you, because she knows that there's a friendship between you and Eric.
Aww.
Because we're always at campfire stories all together.
Yeah.
And Litha goes, that makes perfect sense. Thank you for your tutelage. Do I just wait for her to tell me? I'm guessing this whole channeling spirit thing can include a lot of waiting. Eric goes, yeah, she actually did have a loose perm, 100%. There's a specific detail about my uncle that I want her to mention. It's crazy, but it's truly my aunt. She was married to my grandma's brother, and she's a very strong Southern woman. Litha goes, I'm getting a couple things. I'll just list them here as they come. Eric with a C, a star, the letter C in general. Someone was in the military. Eric just goes, yes. Litha goes, I don't think this is the husband, though. And Eric goes, nope. I love how Eric normally gives so much information, and now he's really
just
testing
waiting.
Litha.
Yeah. Well, he's testing Beulah. Yeah. Via Litha.
Yes. And Litha goes, is the star significant as well? Someone drew a symbol of just a basic star, something about a light or vitamin D. This might not be her.
These are all such specific things.
I know. Carpentry. She's a little taken aback that I told her that we were trying to make sure it's her.
She's like, excuse me?
Litha goes, there's a scroll? What is she on about? I asked about her husband and she's showing me a scroll maybe, or papers being revealed, like someone was sick. Maybe it's a scroll, like a cash register or a degree. I have no idea what she's showing me. Eric goes, you're on the right path, Litha. And Litha goes, okay. The document feels official, legal, maybe not a deed, but something as important as that. It doesn't look like a case register roll. It looks like it's signed. It's binding in some way. Divorce papers? No. Deed? No, but not no. The more I think about her husband, the more cryptic she gets. I have zero idea what I'm doing. And Eric goes, you've got this. And Litha goes, is her husband still alive? I love how the first thing that has ever truly happened to me is that Eric's aunt Beulah is coming through. It's so funny. This feels like weightlifting. I've never done this before, and I can feel the struggle to do it 100%. Okay, I'm getting 1986 or 69. I think it's 1986. I'll keep working on this tonight and tomorrow. I've asked her kindly to let my ancestors through for our Samhain tonight. I'll post on here if I get something, but something big happened in 1986. And Eric goes, well, I'll have to look up the dates. And then Eric goes, wait, you know what? My brother was born in 86. Again, this isn't all of the screenshots, so it does kind of cut off. But Litha then says, Bethesda, scroll, star, police. She's here, but she's very reserved today. She's got navy blue. This is the next day. Navy blue, a gold star. And I'm almost getting a, oh, come on, how much clearer can I be energy? I said, I'll wait for her to tell me more today when she's ready. But I think that she was looking at me like, I've told enough. You got to figure it out.
Okay. It is really cool that this is Litha's like first psychic experience, because it's happening with someone that can help validate the power that Litha has.
Yes. And there's so many witnesses because it's happening in the Discord chat. Oh. Okay. More followed, but this exchange was the majority of it. I couldn't get a name for her husband or anything more than I screen capped here. It was wild. I was both sure and in complete disbelief about what was happening. And I want to be 100% honest here. I'm not at all skilled or anything. This was so difficult. It was like playing charades with a person I could barely see. I could tell through this experience and what the knowledge Jason was telling me that I had a lot of work to do if I wanted to continue using whatever this new sense was. In the weeks following, I haven't gotten much from Beulah, but I definitely think that she's still around, wanting to tell Eric something, whether through me or through someone else. I have apologized to her many times that unfortunately she got stuck with the witch in training on Halloween. But I have had other experiences that I can't explain. Similar messages and images from another spirit, possibly. Someone from Kansas who worked in the lumber industry in the 80s, and I'm constantly seeing movement out of the corner of my eyes.
Litha.
None of this feels menacing, though. Even the breath I felt on my lower back while going to sleep one night. Not even that felt menacing.
Mm.
And then she wrote TikTok meme, surprise, surprise.
No idea. No,
I got you. With the,
you know the reference. I don't.
we're on the same. Her and I have the same exact feed. I'm also getting that feeling of people constantly walking up to me, trying to get my attention when I'm alone. Oh my God, like Ghost Whisperer.
Wow, Litha.
Like when I'm in the kitchen, if I'm sitting at my desk, I know that they're there. They're yelling at me, but I can't seem to see or hear them. I can just sense them inches from my face. And they're not menacing either, just desperate and frustrated. So I decided to reach out to another medium last night who does mentorships and coaching. And one phone conversation with her, and I already feel lighter.
Aww.
In the new year, I'll be taking some classes and beginning my education. Wild. I'll keep you updated on whatever happens next. Love from me and whatever spirit's trying to get my attention next to my refrigerator. Litha.
Well, Litha has since then developed so many more
I know.
talents and abilities.
It's just
Litha-
wild, too, that like this happened a year ago and somehow we missed it.
Well, I think Litha has mentioned on Campfire Stories about being contacted by Eric's aunt, but I never heard the details.
Yeah.
I also never check Discord because I don't understand it the same way I don't understand TikTok.
Well, and also I feel like there's been a lot with like Birdie and Eric and Litha and like some other people in the Discord where like people kind of are sharing
Right.
ghosts in a way.
And Litha and her husband just started a podcast, which we're linking in the show notes. And ever since starting it, Litha has been experiencing so many hauntings. They were supposed to go to Gettysburg to do a investigation of the, what's the woman's name, house? Like the only civilian death at Gettysburg.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
As they were getting in the car, both of her dogs started like violently throwing up. And I'm pretty sure like as they were getting out the door, Litha was basically pushed down the stairs and they ended up not going. And I think it was the spirits basically saying, do not go.
Maybe in a very protective way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wild.
Jeez, Litha.
So our podcast opens you up to the paranormal world.
And if you join our Discord, you might just get some readings from other people in the Discord.
Yeah, your relatives might show up to Litha.
Yeah.
And our podcast also haunts people. And I thought, what better way to end this Halloween episode than with a haunting caused by our PTD episode.
Oh, God. Which is like, when we covered PTD, we already knew that Em and Christine from And That's Why We Drink had so much happen to them and their listeners covering PTD. So we went in trying to be extremely
Well, you also
careful.
started researching it and stopped because you were having experiences. So I was
That's
like,
true.
I got this.
Yeah,
I'm not scared.
You had to take it over. That's the only time we've ever swapped research.
I know. And this is from our listener, Desiree. And it's called Peggy. Hey, ghouls. Hey.
Hey, go, hey.
My name is Desiree. And I've just joined y'all's Patreon. Woohoo. It's been such a blessing. And apparently a curse to find you all. That's terrifying. Nonetheless, I have indeed been haunted by America's Most Haunted Podcast, and it all started with Peggy. So here are the occurrences that I experienced briefly with the Peggy episodes.
Mm-hmm.
My radio screen, which is touchscreen, stopped working while I listened to the episodes. The screen was black, but the episodes continued to play through the speakers. I would click play to resume the Peggy episodes. After a pause, it would skip and then try to play a different episode, meaning something was saying, don't listen. I saw a swarm of gnats outside of my car at my house while parked, listening to the episodes. I experienced road rage from someone who had no reason to rage on me the way they did while listening to the episodes. I have not had an experience like that in 5 years. I felt so emotional after I ugly cried.
Oh.
My youngest daughter got sick for 24 hours, she never gets sick. That 24-hour bug circled around our family of 4 for about a month.
What? That's wild.
My husband and I started noticing black figures moving in the corner of our eyes at night. At least that energy doesn't feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
I've also had nightmares that have yet to stop as I came back to update this ever-growing list. By now, I've finished all of the episodes. However, the bad energy still seems to linger. I put this email off for quite a while because honestly, I was afraid to speak about it all again, let alone revisit or recall all the spooky occurrences.
Mm-hmm.
There's more. I saw a lady shoplift so much from a store that I had just left. I smiled at her in the store. She smiled back and she seemed kind. I parked right up at the front by the door by chance, getting into my car, and I just sat and watched because I could tell things changed quickly in her demeanor as well as the staff. I was like, no way is she for real about to steal all of that. And she did. She walked right past my car. And I had the nerve to ask her if she was going to pay for all of that, in which she lied and said the lady up at the door got her. Theft happens every day, I get it. But why am I coming face to face with all these people with such bad intentions, like the road rage incident?
Right, yeah.
I also started to notice an influx of lights flickering in parking lots. I also got food sickness. I never have gotten that. I got so sick to the point that I was puking and had nothing left, straining to the point of almost passing out.
Jeez.
I truly decided I had to go to the doctor. And as I walked past a ceiling fan in our room to get dressed appropriately, a bulb and it started flickering uncontrollably. So obnoxiously that my husband literally unscrewed it. At that moment, I had the strongest urge to throw my crystal rings down on our dresser. One of the stones is tourmaline. I didn't think about it until the next day I saw that I had thrown all my crystal rings right next to the spot that this bulb had been placed on. Maybe I needed to protect us from whatever was going on with it. I also experienced car alarms going off. One car alarm even went off directly in front of me at a gas pump, quite literally in my face. I giggled in that moment because I was like, I get it.
It's like, how many more? I almost said signs, but it's like, what is it even signaling you towards?
To stop listening? I don't know.
No.
I saw a weird apparition in the sky that was way too detailed to not be anything. I love me some storms, so I was recording the lightning show. And I didn't realize it at the time until I went back through my recording to see if I got any cool lightning shots. And there it was, a face and an abdomen of an obvious skeletal figure holding a bundle of light with the letter R underneath, where its arms were placed as if an emblem on a belt. I am not sure what it could have been a symbol for or what the meaning was, but here's the picture. So this is it like enhanced. We'll add it into the YouTube video.
Ew. Okay, wait, hold on. I kind of see the R, but it also looks like a face. It looks like the Scream face, but to me, it looks like they're cradling a baby and the baby's glowing.
Oh, I thought it was boobs. But yeah, I see
Doesn't
the baby.
it see
I see the
like a
but
baby?
Do you see the R? The R is so...
Oh shit, yeah, you're right. But otherwise, this looks like arms holding a baby like this. Like even you can see the head and it's like glowing.
Or is the R the letters PTD all put together? I don't know. Also, a gnat visited my sister-in-law in a video she was sending to me. It was incredibly specific. My sister-in-law was sending me a video on how to DIY false lashes. When she went to put some adhesive on her lash, a gnat got stuck in the wand right before she put it in her eye. Thank goodness she noticed. It's so strange because over the course of a couple of days, I had been talking about these hauntings and this haunted doll, in quotes, PTD, and I hadn't even said her name until I just had to, because how does it all begin? Gnats, flies. The bad energy had been dying off, but picked right back up the moment I spoke of the podcast episodes. It's just so wild how it was specifically my sister-in-law who I'd been talking to about these episodes and about that doll. Then a freaking gnat appeared in this video in a way that couldn't be ignored, that she sent for me. My sister-in-law does not struggle with gnats or flies, so this was unusual for her. My husband and younger daughter are still struggling with coughing fits for no reason. I broke a nail off, which seems so mundane, but really is unusual for me. And I didn't even feel it happen. I just noticed it later. My phone keyboard keeps acting up while I'm trying to type about these incidents. And I was audio messaging my friend positive things that were ahead, and my messages kept saying not delivered.
No. No.
I ask for me and anyone else struggling while fighting spiritual battles, what are the best things we can do to protect ourselves and our loved ones? Where the heck do I go from here? Does one stop digging into the paranormal realm or continue to dive deep while properly protected? I do not know. From Desiree.
Desiree, you should have listened to our warning. Don't listen to PTD. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. That's all happening at once. And it does feel so incredibly connected back to that episode, back to that topic.
Yes. I'm curious if it's still happening.
Yeah.
When was this email sent? Let me see. Back in March of 24. So.
Okay. So we've got some time that has passed.
Hopefully
and maybe
it's stopped.
Hopefully it stopped. I will say, I know I've said this on other episodes before, but one thing that does help me to protect myself when things are starting to get a little bit noisy is noisy. You do the ribbon wrapping technique, and you can just lie down somewhere or you can sit somewhere and you basically close your eyes and you visualize a ribbon or string or thread starting at the top of your head. I always picture it like maybe 6 inches above. And then it slowly starts going around your body and just wraps you like a little cocoon until it's eventually beneath your feet and tied off.
Yeah. And again, we'll set intentions for all of you. We're sending positive love and light to all of our listeners and protecting them on this very spooky holiday night.
With the most haunted podcast in America.
With Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuices.
Well, if you have experienced any hauntings, whether from listening to us, hearing about PTD, which is Peggy the Doll, if you're not sure what that means, or if you have hauntings generally in your life, please email them to us at 2girlsoneghostpodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget to check us out on YouTube, especially if you want to see all of our hilarious, delightful, frightful Halloween costumes.
Maybe attempts is the best way to describe it.
This might be
our Halloween attempts.
Our most difficult one.
Yeah.
Our tongues just like spiral out. Yeah.
If only we had a full CGI team.
Damn it.
If you guys just tell 2 friends to listen to our podcast, we could afford a whole CGI team.
Pyramid scheme, everyone.
Yeah.
Do it.
But you can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can find us on all the social medias. And we're also having a Halloween costume. So if you haven't heard.
Contest. We're having a Halloween costume.
We're
giving birth to a Halloween costume.
There are trophies. And we will give them to you if you win. So tag us on Instagram, on social media with your Halloween costume. You can find the rules of the Halloween costume on our social media as well. So head over to Instagram. And we cannot wait to see what all you spooky people dress up as.
Yeah, let's see what you can come up with.
Let's see what you can do.
Dance, monkey, dance. Thank you so much to our editor, Jamie Ryan, who helps put this show together and make us less insane.
And thank you to all of you who continue to show up and deliver us the most haunting emails. We love you.
And we will. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
You stole my
You slut. I truly feel bad.
Yeah, I feel like you shocked yourself there. I would have just let you go, but I was reacting to your shock.
I'm offended by myself.
Okay. And we will see you on the other side.